So Rocking Horse Winter. The main reason we incorporate this in this timepiece, it showcases that class structure that we've been talking about a lot. Okay, the role of in the past we had the proles and the higher ups, but here it deals more with the individuals who live beyond their means in order to put on a show for something that they're not. They dress a certain way, or they try to live a lifestyle that they really can't afford. We saw this a lot in the last handful of years with our economic problems, people buying houses that they can barely afford. And then if there's any sort of hiccup at all, then they miss a payment, and then it snowballs and they're toast. They wanted that extra, even though you can get a loan approved for $250,000, it doesn't mean you should get one for $250,000. Okay? It's like maxing your card out right away. So we have a family. The money is struggling. The kid's pretty much tormented by it, and it leads him to his death. There's always a pressure that we need more and more money. There's a lot of pressure put upon the kid because he has a special ability where, riding his little rocking horse, he can see the future. As a sports fan, I would love to know that. Wouldn't you? How many of you have watched a football game and would like to, I wish I would have put money on that game. Mike Tyson got knocked out in Tokyo by Buster Douglas. It was the craziest odds in the world. I can't remember, 50-1 that this Buster Douglas would win. It was just unheard of. And he knocked Mike Tyson out, who was a bad man back in 88, 89, 90, around then. That's one of those things like, man, I wish I could have just dropped $10 on. You know what I mean? But of course, being greedy and such, I'd probably put everything I could afford, and people would think I was nuts. But anyway, so this kid and his uncle devise a plan where they are going to, the kid's going to rock on a horse, come up with a name, and the uncle's going to go place a bet. And they start to win. And they win big. However, that money kind of seeps through their mother's fingers. They even set up a neat way to get her the money without her really knowing where it came from. And she could provide for the family and make things better and not so strenuous and stressful. However, she starts to buy other things to help keep her lifestyle the way that she wants to be portrayed. And that adds additional burden, just like putting more and more weight on that kid. And that kid should not be the lone breadwinner of that family, have the stress on him. And he rides that rocking horse and the vision's not coming to him. And so he just goes longer and longer until it comes. Or in case at the very end, he ends up just rocking himself to death. It's really sad. It's sad that the problems of the mother of the family has pushed this kid to such extraordinary means. And ultimately the innocence of that kid was stripped away, and things that he should have been just playing on his horse, not riding it in order to come up with the payment for the house for the next month, or whatever the example would be. So there's a struggle there. And so it's the motivation of the mother to get money, the motivation of the son to get money. It's a lot different. We talked a lot about motivation of a character with what was her name, Rosemary, in A Cup of Tea, just the other day. Her motivation throughout the piece changes. Whether it was to bring home the little girl for whatever reason, the husband's motivation, not really having too much, he's barely on there. But her motivation at the very end with her husband is much different than what her motivation as a character was earlier on. And so here we have, even though the same goal is to make a lot of money and keep money, the motivation is to provide for a family or spend. Okay, it's much different. And his actions, are really tragic. So take some time and get through that story if you did not get through there.